This is the World Organic News for the week ending 5th of March 2018. John Moore reporting. As I discussed last month, with the new vision statement for the podcast and blog, decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil in mind, I'm calling on my listeners to put forward ideas for an interview episode once a month. So far I've got 3 or 4 people lined up, so the more the merrier. If you know anyone who is doing either part of the vision, I'd love to hear from them. Or indeed from you if you're on the front line doing the work. Now to this week's episode. We begin with a piece entitled World's Largest Seed Bank Hits 1 Million Unique Food Crops from EcoWatch. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is the focus of this piece. Way back at the genesis of this podcast, I did a show on seed banks and the Russian seed collector Vavilov. Vavilov's idea was to return to the birthplaces of domesticated food plants to hunt out the original species. He travelled extensively, collected broadly, and set up his seed bank in Leningrad. There are documented cases of his staff dying of starvation during the siege of Leningrad, surrounded by bags of wheat and rice. The mission of the seed bank was to preserve these collection of food species for later scientific work, and these people really believed in what they were doing. Vavilov himself by this time was out of favour with Comrade Stalin and was arrested in 1940. Sentenced to death in 1941, his sentence was commuted to 20 years in the Gulag, where he died ironically of starvation in 1943. Vavilov's idea of collecting together a wide variety of seeds and cultivars from proto-domesticated through to current cultivars lives on in seed banks around the world. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault is located inside the Arctic Circle in the Svalbard archipelago, halfway between the North Pole and mainland Norway. The idea being seeds are best stored in cold storage, and the archipelago is cold. There was a setback I reported on back in May 2017 where the temperature had risen above 0 degrees Celsius and water had entered the facility. As you can imagine, a mixture of water and seed does not bode well for long-term seed saving. Fortunately, the water only entered as far as the entrance hall, but perhaps other unexpected side effects of climate change will have consequences for this doomsday vault. It is referred to as a doomsday vault because it aims to be the seed bank of last resort. When a particular cultivar is lost from all other seed banks, Svalbard would lend out some of its stock to be grown and returned to the seed library. The seed bank in Syria managed to transfer most of its holdings to other seed banks around the world, but some stock was lost during the current war being fought there, so these facilities are essential. The good news in the piece referred to above is that Svalbard now holds more than 1 million seed varieties. Quote, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault in the Arctic Circle, also known as the Doomsday Vault, safeguarding the world's most diverse collection of seeds, now holds 1,059,646 unique crop varieties after receiving more than 70,000 samples on Monday. Depositors from 23 seed banks around the world brave sub-zero temperatures to deliver duplicate seeds of vital staples such as rice, wheat and maize, black-eyed pea, a major protein source in Africa and South Asia, and samples of sorghum, pearl millet and pigeon pea. Lesser-known crops such as the Estonian onion potato and the Bambara groundnut, a drought-tolerant crop being developed in Africa, also made the journey, end quote. It is worth noting that the Svalbard facility recently turned 10 years old, so 1 million seed varieties is a good milestone along the way. The need to preserve not just seeds should also be considered. At Vavilov's institution, soft fruit and tree fruit plants are growing. These are the species which require this to maintain viable seed. Unfortunately, they are located on prime real estate, so it is not just civil strife and warfare which threatens these botanical arcs. I believe the now St. Petersburg location is safe, but I suspect continual vigilance will be required to ensure it stays so. And now on the matter of species places of origin, the Republic of Georgia, coincidentally the birthplace of the aforementioned Comrade Stalin, gets a mention in a piece from Ancient Foods. Archaeologists find earliest evidence of winemaking. Quote, excavations in the Republic of Georgia by the Gagakrilli Gora Region Archaeological Project Expedition, GRAPE, a joint undertaking between the University of Toronto and the Georgian National Museum, have uncovered evidence of the earliest winemaking anywhere in the world. The discovery dates the origin of the practice to the Neolithic period, about 8,000 years before present. pushing it back 600 to 1,000 years from the previously accepted date. The earliest previously known chemical evidence of wine dated from 7,400 to 7,000 years ago and was in an area of the Zagros Mountains of Iran. Researchers now say the practice began hundreds of years earlier in the South Caucasus region, on the border of Eastern Europe and Western Asia." End quote. The Georgians have always claimed to have invented winemaking, so until another archaeological excavation proves otherwise, they now hold the record. And with that fruity top note with a lingering aftertaste of crushed blueberries and cinnamon, I'll draw this episode to a conclusion. Remember, decarbonise the air and recarbonise the soil. As a podcast listener, you may be thinking of producing your own podcast, but you're not sure where to begin. Drop over to mrjohnmoore.com and check out my course. I've been teaching this at community colleges around town and have developed an online version. There's a link in the show notes. Classes start whenever you're ready, and I'd love to help you into this new way of communicating. A transcript for this episode is available at worldorganicnews.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next week.